Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. It is Wednesday, March 1st. It's a new month. It's a new season. And it is Write It Out Wednesday. So I want to thank you for joining me here. I am Valerie McDowell, your writer, editor, author, book coaching consultant. As they say, multi-hyphenate. I do lots of things. And for those who don't know me, I work with writing and time challenged clients, helping them get their stories told, their books published, and their dreams fulfilled. There are so many people who want to write a book, get their stories published, or even finish what they started. And I've helped well over 40 people write and publish their books since 2019. And I've had over 100 people go through my online course in just a short time. So it's been phenomenal. I love storytelling. I love pulling those stories out of you. And I love seeing your dreams come true. Hey, B Sweets, good to see you. So it is March, or as the weather people say, the first day of meteorological spring. So take it however you will. But also, I want to thank everyone who submitted their Black and Lovely short stories to me. Yesterday was the deadline, so thank you all for participating. I'm excited to read all the stories. I've already gotten started, so I'm trying to collect them all. You know, we had some coming just at the deadline, so thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm so excited that you all, and it doesn't matter, like even if you haven't finished your book yet or got started, keep writing. Write the short story, write the poem, write, the play, the skit, whatever, keep writing. Write in your diary, write in your journal, write notes to yourself. Just keep writing. And I say that because it's about being flexible. It's like not being so rigid, because sometimes we have to take a break from totally focusing on something that things have to be exactly the same way, because life isn't going to be that way. And that reminds me of my topic for tonight. And my title is Make a Plan, but be flexible with the outcome. And that so presented itself today when I received this amazing gift in the mail. It was a special delivery, the box said, and I was thinking it was something else, but I was like, it's not a special delivery. But I was so surprised that I got this amazing gift box, those curated boxes that have lovely things in it. Well, one of my clients who I met when she came to this area, and I totally forgot about our conversation. And then I was like, oh my God, she did it. And what she did was she had one plan, and we had been working on it for actually quite a while. But in talking to her and helping her to kind of craft and frame things out, she said something that made me just say, stop, wait a minute. That's it. That's what you need to be working on. That's the story. That's the book. That's the mission. And so that gave me my idea for tonight. I had something else totally in mind for March, for spring, but be flexible. Hey, it works even now for this. You got to be flexible, because this idea that she had, and this is to all of you, many of us have things that we've written, books that we want to do. Even I've had, projects where I was like, you know what? That's why I can't finish it. I'm not feeling it like that. It's like, it's because it needs an adjustment, or it needs to be just tossed to the side, because that may not be the thing that you need to work on now. And so, that's what I want to talk about today, that we have to learn that it's so important to have a plan, to write the vision, to write down what it is you want to do, to write down your goals, write down those things that you want to accomplish, but be flexible. Be flexible, because there are things that's always going to come up. There are things that's going to happen. And I don't want you to be so rigid that you end up in a negative space because you don't know how to adjust, and particularly when it's something that you've wanted, you prayed about, you've worked hard. And just when you think it's going to happen the way you want it, and it shifts, it's just like that could just throw your whole world off. And so this is my way of saying, make a plan, in fact, make a very detailed plan, but let go of the outcome, let go of the outcome, because sometimes your plan, that goal, that business, those things that you are working towards need some other people to be in place. And sometimes they're not, at least not yet. And so being open, because you may not have met the person who's going to introduce you to the person that's going to connect you to the person that's going to do this. Just before I got on live here, a client of mine whose book is finished, has been finished for a couple years now, referred someone to me at his school many, many states away from here, at least definitely a flight away, a good 4 or 5 hour flight away. But his experience was so good that he referred. And we know that referrals are always the best recommendations, that you do a good job and people will refer you. And so, sometimes when things might look tight or you don't know how things are going and you start, getting some depression or anxiety about things, sometimes you just have to take a deep breath, okay? Because you don't know what's circulating behind the scenes. You don't know what's happening, and just like spring, there's some things that are happening in the ground. I was driving today and just driving through the neighborhood, it's just like to see all the flowers starting to sprout up because we've had some real crazy weather. One of our clients in California, she's just posting about snow. She's like, this side of California, what we doing with snow? Hey, you got to be flexible. It's like, enjoy, because I'm glad we ain't got it for real. I'm like, keep it. Keep that joker in California. You can have it, enjoy it, celebrate it, and don't get so tied into the outcome. It's just like, this is their opportunity to enjoy snow. And I really want them to have that. Okay. I want them to have that. So I have just a few points tonight about how to make a plan, but being flexible with the outcome. And the first thing is sort of like what we've been talking about. Life happens and now you need to adjust. Okay. What can happen? Household disaster, you lose a job, you lose income, sickness, all these things, right? B-Sweets, problem with a family member, problem with you. Stuff happens, life happens. And, as they say, life be lifing and stuff be stuff. And so it's just like, you have to learn how to have a little flow, have a little flexibility, be bendable, because if you're not, then life is going to be hard for you. I was in the gym earlier and my trainer guy, he's a young guy. He's so fun. We dance in there. We'd be like, it's like, people be like, why are they always dancing? If that's how I'm going to lift these weights, then this is what we doing. He got the best music. He bring his speaker, even though we have to upgrade him. But I digress. But anyway, life is going to happen. You have to learn to be flexible. Part of the work we're doing in that gym is to get me to be more flexible. And because I sit a lot, because I'm a writer, because I'm editing, I was up till like 2 o'clock in the morning editing something because I totally lost track of time. Hey, Sheila, good to see you, my dear. And so, working on this, I was like, oh my God, it's like, I got to stretch before I get in this bed. I got to, and I barely slept because I was just like, I was so wired because the project was so good. So shout out to you ladies who be writing all these good projects that keep me up. I love it. But Sheila, tonight we're talking about make a plan, but be flexible with it. And I'm sure you know all about that as you start your business as a financial manager. That, you can, make sure you lay out the plan that you want, the goals, the list, the things, the milestones, all that kind of good stuff. Like you say, have a financial plan, but be a little flexible. Things are going to come up. We were just talking about the first thing. Life is going to happen. And you need to allow life to happen and not be so rigid that, well, we just, no, we can't go anywhere. No vacation. Can you go to the park? Okay. It's like, be open, be flexible, be bendable, be pliable so that life won't be hard, because you have to allow for there to be grace, not only for others, but for yourself. Okay. And then number 2, an unexpected risk or challenge can present itself that you did not see. And what do I mean by that? That sometimes in our business plan, in that project, that book, we don't see something. We forget something or we're not aware of something. And so that's why you get a book coach, because I could be aware of things you're not aware of, but also any kind of coach, mentor, or just another set of eyes to look at that plan to say, you know what, have you thought about this? Or have you considered this? Or perhaps you should do it this way. Because sometimes, you're so focused on the way you want to do something that you miss that it might be some new technology out there that's going to help you. Or, did you read this person's book, or did you see how they did it? And not that you want to copy, but sometimes, someone's already kind of laid that path. And not that you do it exactly the way they do it, because you can't. You're you. You're going to do it the way you do it. But you don't have to always reinvent things. It's just like, how can I take that idea? It's like going live. It's like I go live one way, I dress a certain way, a style. Y'all don't know how y'all might see me. It's like I might have on gym clothes. I might be like this. I'm get ready to go somewhere, but it's like, but you got to be you. And it's like, when you're who you are, then, the unexpected risks or challenges also will not throw you off, that you'll be more prepared. And it'll also will be like, it'll make you think, or it'll make you start doing things like checking with other people. It's like, hey, can you take a look at this? What do you think? Or am I missing something? And being free enough and open enough that you can do that. Now, of course, don't tell everybody. You can't tell everybody your plans. The Bible even talks about that. But it's like, if you have some solid, and I wrote, some trustworthy vision seeking people in your life. Like, people have to be able to see the vision. You don't want people that's like, I don't get it. I don't see that. Like, those aren't the people that you want. You want some people who could see beyond what you can see, or who have a different perspective. I know TD Jakes recently did a sermon that talked about, you don't want to connect with people or always have people in your life, especially when it comes to goal setting and plans and businesses, that are just like you. You need someone who brings gifts and talents unlike yours. Like, my assistant does things I don't do. She edits videos. Like, she'll take this video, she's like, you done? And then she'll do some magic and she'll post it, and she'll do some other stuff and put it somewhere else. But it's like, that's what she does. I'm glad I don't have to do that. I just got to go live and talk. I can do that, but you have to connect with people who do things well that you don't, and not feel any kind of way about it. It's like, celebrate. It's like, you know what? I'm so glad you do that, and give them more opportunities to do it. In fact, I've shared her with some other people. It's like, hey, you can reach out to my assistant because she does this really well. Like, I think she can just do that for you, then that way, because it's a one-time shot, you good. And because you don't own stuff, you don't own people. It's like, be willing to share, because I think when you have a generous heart, and especially when you have, that mindset that, there's enough for everyone, then the more you give and the more you share and the more you encourage and support other people, the more it comes back to you. Like I said, that special delivery today, I thought it was like a regular Amazon delivery, and it was just check my name, but it said special delivery when and it was one of those curated boxes. Like I said, that just made my day. I was so excited, and all the things in it were just lovely. And one of which was a journal, which I love journals. It's like behind me, there's a whole shelf of journals, but I was running out. I literally was down to my last page and a half, and this came right on time. So shout out to Melanie, thank you, because you never know where your blessing's going to come from. So that was 2. It's like, we're here talking about make a plan, but be flexible to the outcome. This is Write It Out Wednesday, the first Wednesday in March, the first day of March, the new month. So we're here in springtime. It's time for renewal. It's time to, get things going that might have been hidden, that it might have been underground for a minute. Is it time to bring them up? Is it time for them to rise to the surface? Because that's our third point, technology. Loosely holding on to things, because technology, economy, industry, seasons change, and though your plan is great, you might need to make some other steps to improve what you have. It's like, I have some buds to plant because I missed the fall, so we'll get some in, but it's just like, what else do I need to do? Did things change? Is the dirt the same? Do I need different dirt? Soil, I guess it's not dirt, it's soil. Let me get the right terminology here. But it's like, what do I need? Many of you have heard of ChatGPT. It's like, I was doing some posting with it, and I just was trying it out, and it's just like, okay, it's like writing all kind of stuff. It's like, you definitely need to edit it and clean it up and make it your own. But, it's like, all right, the robots are working, y'all. The robots are working behind the scenes. So this AI technology, I've seen some amazing things with art. There's a wonderful artist out here. She does education, art, all kinds of things. She's out here killing the game with her artistic creations, curating art in galleries, all kinds of things. But it's like you have to learn how to manipulate this for your own benefit. It's just like, because that's what technology it's for. Let it work for good. We know it can do all kinds of other things and cause all kinds of chaos, but let the good of it. Because just like with the pandemic, so many people, or even when Facebook first came out, so many people saw all the relatives and people you went to high school and college with you ain't seen in years, and it's like, that's a good thing. But then there are other things, it's like, it's too much. You can't be on all the time. You can't be, connected all the time, which a lot of social media, Instagram and those things, they're doing studies about young girls, body image, all that kind of stuff. So, but you have to look at these things and see, how can this benefit me? What can I use it for? How can I best use it? And what do I need to shut off or cut off? So I'm not inundated and overwhelmed by technology, because it can overwhelm you to be on all the time. We have to learn how to unplug, so that we can adjust, because if you're on all the time, you're going to be like this. And so being able to adjust is not going to happen, because you're already rigid, you're already tight, your shoulders are tight, your back is tight. It manifests even in the physical when you are so tied to a specific outcome. It's just like, these kind of rom-coms or stories you hear about, women in their list of what they want their guy to have. And it's just like, he's got to have this 6 figures, this, that, and, it's like, do you have that? Number one. But also it's like, what if it doesn't happen that way? The movie, I had talked about it when I first watched it on Netflix, From Scratch. Oh my God, I never cried so hard. Like, what was going on? But it was unexpected. She met someone doing something else. It became a life together, but it wasn't a very long life. But it was like unexpected. But, as much as she cried, as much as it hurt, she learned, she figured out, you know what? It was Italy I needed to go to. I did need to be here. I do have connections here. I do have roots here. Because even when something tragic happens, or even in the midst of things that you don't plan for, that there may be something that connects you to that. There may be some roots you need to kind of allow to grow deep, because that might be the time you need that season in your life. You need to be strengthened there. You need to be nurtured. You need to grow in that place. Yes, it was an awesome movie. And so, and being comfortable with being uncomfortable, was really the thing. Because so many times, and I've heard people say, oh, I just want to be comfortable. And it's like, that's good. And it depends on where you are in life, because is that something you're saying, like, you want to buy a sofa that's comfortable, you want a bed that's comfortable. But if your life is always comfortable, that means it's rigid. Like you're not allowing for other situations, even to meet new people. That sometimes just meeting one person can totally change your life. Meeting someone and they say something, or you see something, it changes your life. Like I love performing arts. I'm trying to get some tickets. Lion King is here at the Kennedy Center again. It's like, it's such a phenomenal show. Things like that are very inspirational to me, because the creativity, the costume, the music, all of those things feed my curiosity. And you never know who you're going to meet. It's such a fabulous show. It's been going on for many years, but it's still fabulous. It still gets you, every time. And that's the same thing with your books. It's just like every time you pick it up, every time you read it, you get something new. And it's like, and being open to opportunities, being open to what, new people. That's why I love to travel, especially with people I don't know. It's like I meet like 30 new people, and yes, welcome the new opportunities, welcome adventure, because you never know. It's like, it could totally change your life. Like I came here to DC area, on People Express airline, $19. I was 18 years old, figured it out, it was like, I can come up with $18, and I changed my life. So it's like, what is it about you? What do you do? What plan do you have in place that needs a little flexibility? I'm not saying you got to change your plan. I'm not saying you got to change it at all, but be flexible. It's like, because particularly do your research, write it down, definitely pray over it, but don't hold it too tight. It needs air to get into it so that it shifts the atmosphere. Okay, it needs to shift the atmosphere, by allowing, if there's no air getting in that. I mean, think about, your plants, your house even. I'm sure you all maybe grew up in houses that open the windows, get some air in here, because it gets stuffy, it gets stale, and you need some flow. If there's nothing flowing, your blood needs to flow, your lymphatic system needs to flow, all the things, water needs to flow in your house. You don't want it stopped up anywhere. I've had water issues, so I'm like, I need it to flow. Keep going. Go where you need to go. And so being flexible and being open to different things. And one of the things that people often ask me when they get started on their book is, how long should a chapter be? And that's such an interesting question to me, because I'm like, it depends, it depends on what you're writing. It depends on, have you said everything you need to say, and will your audience understand it with clarity? Because if you've said everything you need to say about that topic, that issue, that in that chapter, then you're done, because once you stop typing, then there's no more flow. Once the flow stops, move on, go to the next thing. You can always come back, and you definitely always will need the editing, but it's like, let something run its course and then move to the next thing. Because if you keep rewriting or redoing something, then you end up taking all the oomph out of it. And, sometimes when we self-edit, it's like, that's why you need another set of eyes. That's why you need other people to kind of take a look at it once you've gotten it to a certain point. Because then they'll see, hear, feel something that maybe you didn't, see, hear, or feel. And as I also tell people, it's like, if you cried writing it, if you were angry, if it reminded you and you put that all in it, we're going to feel it. I'm going to be mad, like, who? Wait, who? Is that a real person? I'm coming, or you're going to crack up. I know B Sweets, I told you, was plenty of stuff I cracked up about in your book. Sheila, I'm like, girl, we getting rid of all the cable. It's a lot of stuff. I'm like, I don't need to pay for all this, So it's like, you're going to learn something when you allow yourself to be open and exposed to things. And also, when you are not rigid, holding really tight to those things that you need to do. So, in this new day, in this new month of March, in this springtime equinox that we're going into, where things are starting to grow, come up out the water, with this crazy weather. It's like we got flowers blow, we got the cherry blossoms down in DC. They're peaking. We got snow in California. Who knows? So, I mean, just from the weather itself, you got to be flexible. So, make sure you're doing that as well with your books. Make a plan, write the vision, make it plain, but be flexible with the outcome, because you never know. Things happen every day. So that's all I got for you tonight, ladies. I'm Valerie McDowell, your writer, editor, author, book coach, and consultant, working on a couple more books right now. And I'm so excited. And shout out again to Melody for that special delivery today. And thank you for being flexible. Thank you for being open enough to hear, when we needed to shift something, because now it's really blown up for her. So thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Have a great evening.